Hello and good night to you too, Beagle, my friend. How are you doing? I hope you're gonna have a lovely sleep, filled with lots of good dreams, and nothing bad will happen to you. I hope it will be a very pleasant evening for you, my friend. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Hmm. May Hypnos bless you with the sweet, sweet release of sleep. Hmm. Though, perhaps Hypnos is, where the manifest embodiment of sleep, perhaps? I don't know. Feeling better? No. If anything, I'm feeling a little worse, or a little better in some aspects. But I don't know. I'm feeling physically sick and a bit mentally sick as well. But that's gonna happen to me. You ever find yourself in a place where you have all these ideas and you say them out loud and then you don't go through with them? I feel like that's me a lot. I feel like I just need to shut up and not talk to people about any ideas that I have for life going forward, because I feel like I often find myself in a situation where by saying it out loud, I feel like I've done something regarding it, which I haven't done. Which isn't a good attitude to have, obviously, so... But yeah, that's not really why I'm feeling bad. I mean, I'm feeling bad because I've been having a lot of migraines lately, and well, honestly, it's just been a bad week. I'm having to read comments on my phone at the moment, just because I don't have my glasses because they are broken, and I'm having to spend more than a substantial amount of money on it. I think like around 140-ish pounds, I think. Something like that. It was a lot of money. I'm getting a new pair, which is rather unfortunate. So UK is wild. I don't know how much it costs in like America or wherever. I can get free eye tests here, but the frames cost a lot, and apparently they needed thinning because of the type of prescription they were. They needed thinning on them to like thin the lens down, which cost like an extra chunk of money. And I'm like, oh, okay. Awesome. Love that. I don't know if it's actually needed to thin it down though, or if that's just what they say needs to be done to get extra money. But I don't know. What do I know? I'm thinking of making... Oh, no. Okay. I was thinking of making something. I shouldn't say that, because again, then it falls into this thing of like, I feel like I've done something when I haven't done it yet. But I'm going to do something regarding making something, and if I leave it vague like that, it means I'm not tempted to say I'm gonna do this thing, and then it will work out, you know? Yeah. Yeah, no, UK healthcare is getting more and more expensive, unfortunately, year by year. I imagine it's going to follow the American practice of complete privatization eventually, which is rather unfortunate to think about. I hope it actually doesn't come to that, but I can certainly see it being the case. Well. But yeah, no, just not a great one. It's barely in the week. It's like Tuesday now, isn't it? Broke my glasses, so I had to spend a bunch of money on new ones. Just Americans should never be the prime example. So true. Much as they would love to be. Much as they would love to be the prime example, you are right, they should not be. It's very easy for them to be the... Is it Rammstein? Is it Rammstein? It's Rammstein, right? They have that song, We're All Living in America, which is all about how America's influence is so big that it feels like you live in it even when you're not in it. It's like the world is America, essentially. And I'm like, damn, that feels like that even more often with the internet now. And they're German, aren't they? Are they Austrian? No, they're German. And yeah, they really hit the nail on the head with that one. I don't really listen to much of their music, but I know that song because my friend, she was a big fan of them. She showed me, and like, we're all. It sounds very like patriotic almost, but I think it's kind of done in parody. It's like, we're all living in America, America. Yeah, I think it's very much like a parody on these kind of like overly patriotic songs. Man, there's some really weird rumors about Rammstein though. Like, these people saying they slaughtered a pig on stage. Like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. Where did you come up with this? And yeah, like people, oh, you want to get them fully dressed up and everything. It's like, they're old. They don't have it in them to do that kind of stuff anymore, I don't think. Like, a lot of them are like in their 60s or something like that at the very least. I've always really wanted to go and see AC/DC live, but a lot of them are in like their 70s now and they don't perform anymore, or they do, it's not very rare. They're a little young. But hey, people love that. People love that kind of stuff, right? So, who am I to say they're wrong? Excuse me, I'm sorry. Hang on, let me take a sip of water. So, as well as being sick myself, I think I got sick from trying to wear my glasses actually, and it just gave me massive migraines, but apart from that, my housemate also got COVID, so I hope I've not contracted COVID, which would be a massive shame. Especially when all the times I've got COVID before, it's not because of my own volition, or I don't go out very much, so it's extremely unlikely to catch COVID. The first time it's happened, it's always been because of people I know. But yeah, hopefully it's nothing too terrible. Who knows though? Who knows? But yeah, I was gonna say then. Yeah, so potential COVID, massive thing, massive migraines, loss of significant chunk of money due to my own foolishness. What else? I think COVID is a skill. Make sure you see a doctor. Lots of vitamin C. Oh, I keep that. Thank you, Pickle. I keep that in mind. I mean, I don't know how he got it. It may be a case where it's not actually COVID, but the tests which you have are like, there's enough symptoms where it will test positive for COVID, right? So it may be that case, or it could just be like an ordinary flu of some kind. I don't know. Hopefully it's not though. Speaking of vitamin C, I do try and like have like a pretty mixed diet though. I made like really one thing for a positive thing I did. I made really nice fried rice tonight, and so I posted on Discord. I made like Japanese style chashu pork. It's good. Not 2 days worth of effort good, but it is good. It's good. It's very nice. Maybe like once in a blue moon I would do it again. But just as a one-time experiment thing, it was okay. It was good. It tastes good again. Just I get why it's mainly eaten in restaurants as opposed to. Thank you. Yeah, no, I think it's very easy to look nice. It's very obviously the swirling pattern is very iconic. It's very, very aesthetically appealing. I understand why it's mainly done in restaurants, because making it at home is so not worth it. It takes ages, and it takes, if you're conscious of spending too much money cooking things for energy reasons, it's not suitable. It's not good for that, because it's a long time boiling stuff and simmering for long periods. What I will say is that man, you just make a thin slice of it, and you just fry one half of the slice, and like, oh my goodness, it's so good. And it's, when I normally think of pork belly, I normally think of like it being quite tough and such. Not tough necessarily, and unpleasant. You know, there's that thick ring of fat around. I'm like, no, no, not so with this. I mean, if you don't like the big thick outer layer of fat, you can just take that off. I mean, it tears off so easily, but like because of like how long it's been cooking for, and the fact that you've not like cooked it with like high heat or anything. You generally like boil it. You cook it in water and you boil the meat, but man, it just melts in your mouth, right? And obviously you can cook it for a short amount of time. I think I want to say around 1 hour and 45 minutes maybe. Estimated around that, but you can cook it for like 1.5 hours and give it more of a meaty texture, or you can have it really long, like about 2 hours, and have it more of a melt in your mouth kind of thing. I kind of wanted it more to go for the latter, because generally when you're eating it, you'll eat it with chopsticks. And granted, you can eat it whatever the hell you want, right? I recommend not eating it with your hands, it's very greasy. But yeah, it's nice, and I used the leftover of it today just to make some fried rice. I like put some slices of it on top of it, and like for the little nubs and stuff, which I couldn't really put into thin, nice looking slices, I just chopped them into little pieces and threw them around in the rice. And yeah, it's basically like the chashu pork is like the Japanese version of like Chinese char siu. Char siu pork, which, you know, is also used a lot in fried rice and stuff in a lot of places. But yeah, it's essentially the Japanese variant of that, really. And yeah, if you get the chance to try it, go for it. I wouldn't recommend it. I went to a butcher's as well. Generally, if you want to get like a big, so like it's made of pork belly, you need like a big rack of pork belly for it. Generally, you'll need to go to a butcher's for that. And I was actually able to get some for a rather good price. It was like a kilogram for like maybe a bit, I think it was a bit less than a kilogram for like all in like one giant rack for like, I want to say like about £8. I don't know what that'd be in euros. Maybe that'd be like 10ish euros, 10ish dollars or something like that. Which isn't terrible, honestly. It's a lot of money for one piece of meat, but like considering butchers are generally a bit more expensive, and it's the type of cut that it was is not normally available in like supermarkets or anything like that. I think, you know what, that's fine. I think that's a fine price. Plus, he gave me some butcher string as well to go along with it, because I just asked him to, and I was like, yeah, sure, of course, man. He's very, very nice about it. But yeah, that was basically in a freezer for a while, just waiting to be used. And then I think it's it. The person who got sick was my brother. They came back from a trip to Japan, and they brought some like sake and mirin with them. Like, well, I already had some mirin, but I didn't have any sake, and like they just brought some back. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll use that, like cooking sake, because you don't want to use like the really high quality good stuff, right? It's the same with wine. You don't want to use an extremely expensive bottle to cook with. Granted, you also don't want it to be a bottle which you wouldn't drink. I've heard, yeah, when it comes to cooking with alcohol, there's two things I hear. Don't use an expensive wine, because, you know, it doesn't matter. Don't use an expensive wine, but don't use a wine you wouldn't drink, which I guess makes sense. Like, if you wouldn't like the taste anyway, don't use it, but also don't waste like $20 runios or whatever your currency you're on. Don't waste a ton of money on an expensive bottle of wine for cooking with, right? Don't bother with that. It's not worth it. Granted, if you're drinking wine, generally, if you're I don't drink alcohol. To my understanding, if you are drinking wine, or at least I can drink alcohol, just not to. Generally, if you're drinking wine, it's recommended that you drink it within a day, maybe 2, and keep it refrigerated if it's over a day, because the longer it's aerated, the worse it gets, and it will eventually, if you leave it out in the air, it will eventually just become vinegar. Sake is just aesthetic. It tastes just okay, though this comes from a person who mixes Coke and wine. In my experience with sake, I once went to someone's house, and they had come back from a trip to Japan, and they had got like a little like assortment box, I guess, of multiple different types of sake. Some were like very bitter, some were very sweet. I think the sweet ones are nice. I don't know if it's necessarily just aesthetics. I think it tastes nice. In terms of like traditional aesthetics, like, oh yes, we should be having an honorable meeting and drinking from these tiny shallow cups. I guess they're cups. I don't know. These tiny shallow dishes, and we shall each drink a small amount and share it in a military bonding exercise, I guess. That's very aesthetic. But no, I think sake can genuinely taste nice. Excuse me. I think a lot of the more delicate... Okay, so the rate at which you use alcohol in cooking, I think a lot of the more delicate notes you'll find between variants of something can get lost because of the heat. Like, if you're using two different types of red wine, obviously red wine tastes different from white wine, right? That's obvious, but like, different red wines can also taste different. However, I think some of the more delicate notes can get lost because they get broken down by heat as you cook. And so, whilst it obviously can make a different type of wine you make, I don't know if it's going to make a massive difference if you're using two different red wines which are evenly priced, I guess, you know? It's the same with vinegar, really. Like, different vinegars do have different tastes. You know, there's different colors of vinegars as well. If you are cooking with vinegar, a lot of the time, those more delicate notes which you'll find when vinegar is raw will get lost in cooking. Like, if you're making like whether it's a Mexican style, I guess it's more Mexican just than Spanish, Mexican style, or a Filipino style adobo, they're both like heavily vinegared sauces. As long I honestly don't think it would make much of a difference which kind of vinegar you're using, so long as it's like some kind of like white vinegar, a clear vinegar, because it's more useful for if you are doing like dressings and such, and like things where you'll actually be able to taste the vinegar flavor. What's your favorite alcoholic beverage? Okay, so Pickle, I'm not gonna lie to you. If I drink, it's either because I'm chronically depressed and I'm like, I kind of just want to feel it wash over me a little bit just to get it out of my system, which by the way is not a good idea, I don't think, a lot of the time. Alcohol is a known depressant, and maybe try and just like burst it out of my system with that is not a good idea to do, but that's extremely, even then, it's extremely uncommon that I do that. The only thing I would really drink for like recreation, I guess, is like Irish cream liqueur, like Bailey's, right? Like cream liqueur is very, very nice, though it also just tastes kind of like milk, like a coffee milkshake. It tastes like a cream, like a milkshake, and I just kind of like that. I think a guy I knew, he once gave me a White Russian, and I'm like, oh, this tastes just like milk. Yeah, like he's like, Elijah, you like Bailey's, right? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, have a White Russian. And I think White Russians are like cream liqueur and vodka or something like that. And I thought that was okay, because yeah, it did just taste like a milkshake. But generally, yeah, I don't drink that much. It's either because I'm pretty low and I think maybe this will help, and even though I know it won't, or it's because I'm amongst people I know and there's like mounting peer pressure to drink. Not that anyone's ever forced me to, it's just because I don't want to, but I'm like, I feel like I should do. And honestly, sometimes maybe it can help just to like loosen you up a bit. But I don't know, I think I'd rather have all my faculties around me, you know? I'd rather be an honest version of myself. Well, I guess they say alcohol can make you more honest, can't it? I at least want to be a version of myself in control, I guess. So maybe it's a dishonest version of myself then. Though, it begs the question of, are any of us ever in control? Is control just an illusion? You have no control. Who lives, who dies, who tells your story? Bailey's is so good with mint liqueur. It tastes like mint chocolate chip. That sounds actually very pleasant. That sounds really nice. I don't understand the hate that mint mint chocolate gets. I feel like it's a bit overblown, like when people get obsessed about pineapple on pizza. I think it's not just because people actually care about it, but people want to be able to hate on something because they have nothing better to do with their lives, I think. Like, if the worst thing you can complain about is pineapple on pizza or mint chocolate tasting like toothpaste, I think you must have a pretty good life. You must have a pretty solid life if that's all you can complain about. In which case I am envious of you. I truly am. Oftentimes with mint chocolate though, it's like, I'm guessing like, I imagine like the green colour comes from food colouring, right? Because it's more often than going to be using mint extract. Because throwing raw mint leaves into ice cream sounds not the most pleasant thing in the world. I once made a salad. I think I saw a recipe from Gordon Ramsay. They put mint leaves in it. I'm like, okay, and it's like, that looks like a lot of mint, but okay, I'll give it a go. I'm like, yeah, no, that's way too much mint. I should have put it in. Lesson for next time. This was a while ago though. It was a lesson for me, but yeah, you put it in a little bit at a time and then taste it, because mint, it can be very, very overpowering very quickly. You don't want too much mint in it. But no, in desserts and such, it will often be like mint extract. Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. It'll often be mint extract. But yeah, I like mint desserts. But man, that sounds lovely though. It's just as well, like I just can't. But also thinking, man, it'd be nice to try these things out. I also can't justify it, right? It's like I drink so little that I can't justify spending a ton of money on alcohol just to try these things out. So I'm like, I'll just leave it. Maybe one day I'll like meet people who drink a lot, and they'll be able to say, hey Elijah, would you like to try this thing? I'm like, wow, I would love to do that. That sounds absolutely wonderful. That sounds delightful. That sounds splendid. And I would try it, like, well, yep, that's alcohol. Or maybe be like, yep, that's actually not terrible. I rather enjoyed that. That's another thing. I kind of just realized, man, I have these like random bouts where I realize that I have just like, this is gonna sound so fucking miserable and depressing, so I do apologize. I just don't have anyone around me. There is like no one in my life to socialize with. I have people at my day job who I don't. There's maybe like one person who I'd consider socializing with outside of work hours. The rest of them, I don't have any problems with them, but I don't know. I feel weird wanting to hang out with people from work. Granted, it helps the other person who I know is like around my age, and well, no one's around my age. I'm about, I'll say about 400 now-ish. A bit over 400. Yeah, a bit over 400 now. You kind of lose track after a while. You lose track after a long, long time. But yeah. I went, so at a local game store near where I was, and I've been in a thing of where like I need to try and do more things to keep active and about. So I went to I saw in a local game store that they had an event on tonight for the card game Elestrals, which is kind of like Pokemon, aesthetic wise at least. And I'm like, oh, they're gonna have an event where you can like get a deck and learn to play the game, and that sounds very fun. I want to try that. And I got to the shop today and like, man, I'm feeling sick, and maybe I shouldn't go, just in case I've caught something. But I just want to get out and do something. So maybe it's irresponsible of me, but I was wearing a mask. I went out and I got there and I said, oh, I'm sorry, it's been cancelled. It's going to be next week instead. I'm like, oh, okay. The lady who was there though was very nice. She gave me a promo pack. Let's open it now on stream actually. There's like a promo pack they releases here. Sounds fun though. You should go there next week. I will do. I'm gonna learn how to give it a go. Yeah, maybe nothing will come of it, but yeah, giving it a try is no harm. Guaranteed stellar and two of the latest competitive cards to give you the edge, give you the greater edge. And this is like a promo pack with 3 cards. Tournament Pack Series 1 has 3 cards in it, which is nicer. She gave me to it anyway. Yeah, but gave me it anyway even. But yeah, I also went rock climbing on the weekend for the first time in a while. I'll probably be doing that every week or every 2 weeks or so. The new card smell on these is not very strong. I imagine that's because it's a promo pack though. I'll say the packaging is very firm though. It's very nice and solid. Ah, okay. I put one of them here. Okay, let's see what we got in this pack here. Astrabbit. I've heard of this card. This card is like a big mascot card. And apparently it's very good. Oh, those backs are interesting. They feel nice. They feel very high quality, almost firm. So much so. Do you collect them? Well, I'm aware of Alestrals. I've never played or collected any of them, so I'm just more interested in trying it out. I really like the Digimon card game, but there's no scene for it where I live. So, I do have a deck in the event that should I ever go somewhere which does have it, I will be ready. But at the moment, no. I do not collect the Alestrals. I do have Digimon, but there's no one to play it with. Rise from the Ashes. It's a Invoke. Is that what they're called? Invoke. And Leo Bright. This guy looks cool. Leo Bright. You can foretell 4. I don't know what that means. I imagine it's like look at the top 4 of your deck. You may special ascend this Leo Bright as a Celestial foretold this way. I guess it's like an evolution. There's like a lot of, it's like Pokemon, there's a lot of like evolutions for cards and such. So a lot of this is like words which don't mean much to me, but they look very nice. Oh, the foiling on that is lovely actually. There's a lot of stars on the back of it. You can't see it here, unfortunately. I don't have a hand cam or anything. That's a lovely card. The foiling on, oh wow, the foiling on that is really delightful actually. It's such a pleasant card to look at. Wonderful stuff. Love that. That looks lovely. If you can look up the card Leo Bright from Alestrals, you'll see it. It's got, and you look at the foiling for it. It's very, very nice foiling. It has like these 2 patterns which appear at different lightings. Very, very nice. Very classy. Man, they really care about the quality of these cards. So do I understand Alestrals has like 8 types? There's like non-elemental. There's like non-elemental. There's fire. There's water. There's lightning. There's wind. I think that is, or is that nature? There's I think solar and lunar. I don't know what they all are actually, but there's a bunch of types. Looks cute. Yeah. Is he a little lion? He's kind of a medium. He looks like a fairly large lion, actually. Leo Bright. But yeah, I don't know. I think the point of this was that, damn, I need people in my life, because I'm going to be an old codger and have no one left. I used to know people, but it turns out a lot of those people I knew were not who I thought they were. And yeah. Word of advice, Pickle. Word of advice. Celestial Lion. He looks really cool. Now, word of advice, Pickle. Never. If you find yourself in a situation where you are friends with people or an individual person who make you feel bad for being yourself, they are not your friend. Or if they are, they're not a good friend. And I would highly recommend moving on with your life. Finding someone else better than that. And that might be something on purpose that they do. That might just be their personality. But if you find yourself in a situation like that, you're going to advise to a 400-year-old. I
can offer advice again if you'd like, though maybe the novelty wears off the second time. Maybe the second time it's like, okay, old man, move along. Okay, boomer. I'm like, oh, okay. You damn young people. I love the young people. How many times do we need to teach you this lesson, old man? I love the young people. Actually, I hate the youth. You ever want to throw bricks at children? Yeah. That's the quality of people around where I am. I'll get there someday. I'll get there someday. And then they'll be like, haha, you're old and shit. Then you'll be like, not as old as you. Like, Jesus Christ, man. I'm like, okay, well, didn't need to go that far. It's weird when people, like, call someone older than them, say, you're really old, and they'll be, like, 2 or 3 years older than them, and it's like... Or, like, if someone says, God, you're old, and someone's, like, 30 or something like that, and I'm like, are they that old? They're not that old. They have, like, almost an extra 70 years of life potentially ahead of them. I guess I think a lot of it is done in jest, though, right? If someone's calling a 30-year-old old, I think a lot of people, when they do that, are referring to them in, like, a jest. But yeah. Or, like, maybe even 40-year-olds, even, I don't know. I think when people get into like the 50-ish age, people are like, haha, you're old and shit. I think then there's more validity. I deal with children on a daily basis. They're most cute, but you're right, the bricks up. Excuse me. So I've worked a couple jobs involving children, and I think I've mentioned it. I don't know if you've ever been here, Pickle, when I talked about this, but I guess you are fairly new, so that would make sense. But I've worked a couple jobs where my voice cracked. A couple jobs where I've worked with like children and teenagers, but you have to call them young people because that's the politically correct term, and it's like the teenagers. Fuck, shut up. But and especially with like, listen, so like some are great, some are just like, you are a bad person, and if you were set on fire, I would not put you out. you could spontaneously combust, and I'd be like, well, honestly, I'd be a bit surprised, but also then I'd be like, oh no, oh dear, what a shame. If only someone could do something about this. This would be, oh dear me and my, oh. Someone call the fire department. This child is on fire. Oh, the humanity. I'm actually looking really happy about this. And like, oh, I assure you, good sir and or madam, I am mortified by the sight of this. This is truly a horrifying spectacle. You know, when H.P. Lovecraft wrote Cthulhu, wrote about the Cthulhu, I'm sure the horror he was imagining there could never have compared to something as gloriously horrific as this. Dude, you're fucked up. But yeah, sometimes people are just assholes. Yeah. Getting a bit scary now? Oh, well, you know, we're just in the middle of a void. You gotta get a bit scary sometimes. Boo! Sometimes I think about, like, how, like... so... I think it's kind of interesting how, like, if you're, like... Listen, I don't really like talking at this kind of thing, but, like, I'm, like... I have like I'm a VTuber here. I am the boy, the male. It's interesting how like if you are a male VTuber and you're successful and you don't do ASMR of any kind, you're really kind of an anomaly. You know what I'm saying? I wonder, should I do that? And then I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't really like ASMR. I have no problem with it. If anything, I get a lot of cooking ASMR, not because I seek it out, but just because it inevitably comes up as part of me just consuming cooking videos daily. Really nice channel I like called Hidamari Cooking. I can't remember the Hidamari's Japanese. There's another one which is a Korean channel. I can't remember their name now, but they both have like a lot of like ASMR elements in their cooking videos, and that just comes up, and I'm like, okay, this is fine. And I'm also, while some people watch those just for the ASMR aspects, I don't. I'm watching it to learn recipes and for baking and cooking and such. And I've given like ASMR to go, and I'm just like, I don't know. I have no issue with it, and someone like, oh, this is rather pleasant. This is nice. I can understand this, but I'm not like foaming at the mouth for anything. I don't think I ever actively seek it out. It's more just like if it's there, I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try, and like, a lot of the time it's gonna be like, I don't know, it's just not for me. So yeah, I don't think. Though I also do put ASMR as a tag for like when I'm doing reading stream, but that's just because there's nothing else I can think of which suits it. It's not just chatting, but it's not just chatting. ASMR is like the closest I can think of to it when it's all about like an audio sensory experience. And maybe that's not right. Unfortunately, there's no tag which I could find which is just reading. Unless I'm very dumb. In which case, I have been a liar for so many weeks now, and I have been misadvertising myself on Twitch.tv. Oh no, what a shame. The only person I follow on Twitch, I'm so sad I found you on the ASMR tag, not my proudest. It's okay. Wait, how did you find me, Pickle? Was it just because it had the Odyssey in the name and you were interested? That's fun. I don't think you were here the other. I think it was last week when we were talking about other things, and like, yeah, excellent. Yeah, no. I finished Epic fairly recently, and I'm like, this was really fun. I want to read the Odyssey again because it's been many years since I've read it now, and I've been doing reading streams recently. I think I've mentioned I did Bambi by Felix Salten a couple of weeks ago now. If you've never read it, by the way, great book. I will be uploading VODs for it, but if you just want to read it yourself, it's not that long of a book. My copy of it was like, honestly, around 260-ish pages, but like, it's not long. It's one where the text is rather large in it, because it's meant for younger readers, right? It is meant for a younger audience, so the text is rather large. So it's realistically not even not as long as it sounds. I imagine if you were just to take a few things of like, I don't know, maybe just even 20 minutes a day, you could probably get through it really quickly. I would heavily recommend Bambi: A Life in the Woods if you've not read it. Obviously very different from the Disney film, which it's based on. No, the Disney film is based on the book. Very different, obviously. If anything, I can't really remember the Disney film that much. It's my understanding it's just got a weird assortment of episodic things which happen, and yeah, there's a much more like, I don't want to say dour note to the book, but it's much more about life and death. When it's the full name is Bambi: A Life in the Woods. As much about a life in the woods, it's also about death in the woods as well. And it's all about understanding life and death and accepting it and moving on. And there are things which happen in Bambi which, for us as a human audience, like, well, why is he like this now? And it's like, well, he's a deer. They don't function on the same rules or morality as a human does. And it's like, it does a very good job of capturing how this might work for animals. But yeah, it's a very, very good read. Bambi as a character is very interesting. He's very endearing. This like endless curiosity about the world, and this often confusion about the world as well, which you're basically there to explore with him. It's very, very nice. It's a very, very good read. But yeah. Second in the week. So obviously I mentioned before, I wouldn't mind reading the Iliad on stream after the Odyssey. And again, a large part of this because I've actually never read the Iliad in full. I've read like excerpts from it and like the odd book or two from it, but I've never read the full Iliad. So what I might do for that is I might read through the books before a stream just to like I can annotate them so we can discuss them as well, because I think that's part of it, right? I want to like be able to like talk about the book and educate as well. And I also have my old copy of the Aeneid, which is like the Roman sequel, by the poet Virgil. So maybe you can read that afterwards as well. And I was talking about Arthurian myth the other day, so maybe we can have a read of them. Like some of my favorite stories are Gawain and the Green Knight by the Gawain poet. It was an anonymous source. We don't know who they were. So they are just generally referred to as the Gawain poet. And also Yvain, the Knight of the Lion, who I can't remember who wrote that, but Yvain, the Knight of the Lion is a very fun story. The titular Yvain goes on all these adventures and he befriends a lion, which he encounters because I guess lions are native to England. You know, the lesser spotted English lion. Drinking a cup of tea whilst also trying to hunt gazelle. But he befriends a lion and he goes around exploring and seeking adventure and with this lion, and he becomes known as the Knight of the Lion. And I'm like, what a cool name for it. What a cool name, right? What an epithet. What an awesome name. I wish I would be called the Knight of the Lion. Yeah, it's just him and his lion going on adventures. It's really, really fun. I was also explaining that Chrétien de Troyes. Terrible read. No, was it Chrétien de Troyes? Was it he who wrote Le Morte d'Arthur? Arthur? I think it's French, it'll be Arthur, I believe. Either way, Le Morte d'Arthur is It's far from my favorite. I mean, Beowulf! I talk about Beowulf so often on stream because it's like the first, like, it's the oldest recorded English text that we have. That could be really fun to read on stream. Beowulf is really interesting. Do you not like Beowulf? I think Beowulf's great. No, Beowulf is like the oldest recorded English text that we have. I think it'd be really interesting. I can in uni like a couple decades ago. I really like Beowulf. Honestly, I do. I think it's interesting to compare modern translations to Old English and see how far it's come as a language, where the Old English tongue was very, very different. I'd argue not even close to something like Gaelic or Welsh. I guess it was closer, but it wasn't really like Gaelic or Welsh. Even there, the advancements. But then eventually, English was a very odd language. Obviously, is the case with a lot of things, where a lot of tribes and such, and clans, they were their own regional dialects and stuff with their own words, and it would be several hundred years until there was really any kind of more unification of it. And even then, that was only after the French won. I think it was the 100 Years' War, where the French won and introduced French as the main language of the English monarch, the English court, where you had the common peasantry speaking English, and the multitude of English dialects, and the court speaking French, and you had developments like one of the favorite ones I learnt about was you had the English word for a chair was Stuhl. The French word is chaise, I believe it is, chaise for chair. And essentially, that the chaise got adopted as the word for chair. Oh no, that's not a stool. That's a chaise, a chair, and that would eventually become chair over time as it got spread around. Stuhl is the root for the word stool, and it's almost like a demotion, right? Like it's not a full chair anymore. It's like a little seat, often with 3 legs, maybe 4 legs, but a much smaller seat which you just sit on. You know what I really missed? Having like stools in my kitchen. When I was at university, I've been to university a couple of times over the centuries, but in the latest time there was a kitchen, we had stools, and it was a really wonderful feeling to be sitting around with housemates, with flatmates, and just talk on stools and such. It's a wonderful feeling. I really hope I can reclaim that at least one more time before I disappear into the ether. But yeah, what was it about? I'm curious what you didn't like about Beowulf though. Was it just boring? Was it confusing? I personally very much enjoy Beowulf. There are far worse like Scandinavian-based epics, which are far less interesting than Beowulf, I think. There's one, I can't remember the name of it now, but it's essentially just like a way to list a bunch of figures throughout history, essentially. Yeah, I think Beowulf works really well. What is interesting is that it's evident that Latin had already influenced English by the time we had Beowulf written down in English, because it references things like God, which was spread to England through Christianity, through Latin from the Romans. English is my second language, so reading it on the first week hurt my brain. No, that's fair. Listen, I'm not going to... So, obviously translation is not a direct science. It is, as much as people would like it to be, it is not. It is an art. However, I think when you are writing translation, especially for these older works, you kind of want to capture that old feeling, and so even for more modern translations of Beowulf, they'll write it in this more grandiose style. Because the thing is, as well, like a lot of modern translations, if you were to do it in a complete modern way, it would lose a lot of the poetic aspect of it. And again, these are poems, these are epic poems, right? The Odyssey, the version I'm reading, whilst it doesn't sound like it when it's spoken, there is a rhyme and a rhythm to it, and there are individual lines, line counts for it. Yeah, I don't know. Hopefully, if you stick around for then, Pickle, I will. I'll hopefully be able to bring Beowulf to life in a way which entertains you, which endears you to it, because I think there's a lot of genuine good stuff in there. Also, I like that the dragon has poison fangs. I just think that's cool. You don't hear like dragons being poisonous a lot nowadays, except for if it's, I don't know, like, this is a poison dragon. Like, no, this is just a dragon, but he breathes fire and is huge and has tough scales, and also his bite is just poisonous because he's a dragon, and that's just what dragons are like in Beowulf. And I'm like, that's cool as heck. I like that. Did you ever watch the film of Beowulf? It had like Angelina Jolie in, and she was like a hot ogre, and I'm like, this film sucks ass. But it was all like animated. It was like CG animated. I don't know if it was like rotoscoped on top of like actual humans, or at least most of it was. And it looks interesting. It looks very nice. But I'm like, why is Angelina Jolie like a sexy ogre lady? Can I be honest? I don't think Angelina Jolie is like all that. You ever find yourself in it? Like, you ever see celebrities and you understand that they're attractive on like a base level, but you just don't see it, right? Like, there are many celebrities I can see, I'm like, yeah, that's certainly an attractive woman, and I'm just like, they're not my type. Like, Margot Robbie is someone who people fawn over. I remember when Suicide Squad came out, everyone I knew was like, oh my god, she's so high, dude. And I'm like, yep, she's an attractive lady, all right. That I don't have any strong feelings other than that towards her. Like, there are like far less like supermodel style people I've seen who I think are way more attractive. But I guess it's a thing of like it's like too Hollywood perfect attractive, you know? And a lot of people don't like it when people are too perfectly attractive. Though also I think I just like cute more. Like I think what was that actress called? Jenna Coleman. She was in Doctor Who. She was in Xenoblade Chronicles. So and Jenna Coleman I think is so attractive. She's such a good, like this like really cute button face. I think she's just very, very pretty. They're plain pretty, so attractive to the point where you can't. Yeah. It's you understand it, but it's just like you're so boring. You're so attractive, but by the books attracted that it's boring. you're attracted to the point that it's boring, which is not to say you don't find them attractive. It's just they're not attractive for you, I guess. You're like too attracted to the point that it's like, whatever, bro. Perfection is never interesting. It's the question of whether something can be perfected or perfection already exists and we just don't recognize it. What a conundrum. What a conundrum this is indeed. Oh dear me, oh my. Oh, what a situation. What a situation we're all in. But yeah, there are public figures who I've seen, and I think they're not the Hollywood standard, and I'm just like, God, this person is very attractive. Grant, the thing is, I don't think it's as bad as like, you know when like the Tumblr sexy man came out, right? But like it was also applied to a bunch of like real people and not just fictional characters, like Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't get that one. I think women were weird for that one. Listen, I don't want to say Benedict Cumberbatch is an ugly guy. I have no opinion on the man. But people are like, oh my god, he's so hot in like a really ugly way. And I'm like, what do you mean by this? Listen, I'm not saying I like women who are kind of ugly. I'm saying I like women who are like just not like Hollywood style Barbie dolls. I guess it's not what I'm interested in. But I don't know, like I feel like for everyone who says, okay, there's like two stereotypes there. Okay, there's a lot of stereotypes for this. Like people are like, oh, women only want like dudes who are like 6 foot tall, shredded. Like no, like sure, do people want that? Yes, absolutely. Some people do want that. That's just like human taste. Others are like, I want a guy who's like weird. He looks weird. And that's the like, what you could be like, what do you mean by this? Sharon, what do you mean by that? Oh, Sharon, what do you mean by this? Like, I don't know. I just want someone who looks like weird, kind of scrangly. I'm like, what does scrangly mean? Sharon, what do you mean by scrangly? I don't know. Just a weird grumble. Like what? A grumpler. Like what are you talking? Are these words you're making up at the spot? Sharon, I can explain, but that's a whole topic. They are right. A scrangly grumpler. So they're right about the scrangly grumplers. Something is off with that person, so you can tell. It's so funny. You literally said, "You're different. You're not like the other ones." At this point, I can only feel attraction for drawn or written characters. They have to be weird too. The amount, okay, I really like Hermes in Epic, and I saw a lot of you being like, God, Hermes is so weird. That's so attractive. And I'm like, I don't... You know what, Queen? You go off. Who am I? Who am I to judge your tastes? I am but a humble son of a shepherd. I have never been involved in shepherdry in my life. Not different in a good sense. Okay. Wait. Okay. Were you? I don't know if you were here when I spoke. Have you ever seen Bacano, the anime Bacano? If you haven't, I would recommend it. There is a character who I always think, man, I bet women would like this, because a lot of women like this character. It's called Claire Stanfield. Do not look him up. Do not look this up. I'd recommend. Actually, first I would recommend watching Bacano. It's a fantastic series. If you ever heard of the film Pulp or watched the film Pulp Fiction, it's like the Pulp Fiction of anime, right? It's like a 1920s gangster story with trying not to it's better to know as little as possible going into it, trying to not spoil it. It's like a 1920s gangster story with some supernatural elements involved, which if I say any more than that, it will ruin what the supernatural elements are. But it's very cool. And it's like 3 different stories going on at different times, all of which kind of interlock with each other. And my god, I think it's 4 different stories. There's a bunch of different stories going on. None of the characters look off. I got scammed. Then it's got you. It's done the right thing. Oh, did the music stop? Oh dear me, oh my. Oh no. Listen. That means it's got you because it's not showing you the best character, so leave it. Please watch Bacano. It's a very good show. I have a very fond memory of rewatching that when I was at my most recent cycle of university, and I spent the whole night watching it with some friends who had never seen it before, and a friend of a friend was there. She had watched it before, and she wanted to dress up as one of the characters. She was talking at the story. I was really interested in dressing as this character for a convention, but like it would mean having to go around a convention covered in like fake blood. And she was like, I think for safety reasons, it would have been in my best interest to not do. And I'm like, yeah, that's probably for the best. But no, some of my favorite characters in the series it's a duo called Isaac and Miria. They're like a thief couple, I guess. They're like what's the term you would use? They're like flamboyant thieves, I guess, and they'll do all these like wacky heists, and they are absolutely hilarious. But yeah, if you've never watched Bacano, definitely give it a try. Okay, Pickle, I don't think you'll regret it. I think it takes a bit to get going, and I think you'll need to give it like a couple of episodes. It's not very long. I think I want to say it's around 12 episodes or so. It's really not very long at all. Give it a few episodes just to let it set in, because it's a very confusing start. It is deliberately so, even in the same, again, like Pulp Fiction, the film is deliberately confusing. But if you give it a chance, you will find a really, really unique series, which there's not really been anything like it since. There's not really been anything like it. And do yourself a favor and watch the English version. And I know some people would say, oh, blasphemy! How dare you? How dare you insinuate that the Japanese version should not be watched? It's an American gangster story set in the 1920s. It's in 1920s New York. The dub is fantastic. Watch the English version. I have met like Japanese dub purists who would say, yeah, no, the dub of Bacano is fantastic. In the same way that there are many people who are like Japanese dub purists and would recommend the English version for Cowboy Bebop. It is a really cool series. Very, very cool series. There's OVAs for it as well, which I never actually watched the OVAs. I'm very annoyed at myself for it. Maybe I'll give the OVAs a go. I've been watching the Digimon, making out with all the Digimon series recently, and sorry, keep coughing. Taking this water. I've been making my way through all the Digimon series like the past like year or two now, because I just love Digimon. I'm on the 5th season now, Digimon Savers. It is not good. It's not good at all. I remember when I was very young trying to watch it, and I think it's like 48 episodes. I think I want to say I got around 45 episodes in, so it was really close to the end of it, and I just never finished it, and have no reason for it. I think I just like, yeah, whatever. I'm okay. I didn't finish it right now, and I never got around to finishing it, so I don't know how it ends. But I'm thinking maybe there was a reason why I didn't finish this series back then. The series is really boring and dumb. It's like, just as a TV, not just as a Digimon series, it's a TV series, it's not good. It's really bad. It's not intelligent. It has no intelligence to speak of. The characters are nothing. They're non-characters. You have the main character who is one note, I'm just gonna punch stuff, and everyone's gonna think that's the best course of action. You have the smart guy who has trauma with his mother, which he gets over in like a single episode, I guess. It's like, that's not something you can really just get over. And it's like, whatever. And then you have the girl. Her personality is girl, I guess. You know, everyone loves that personality, girl. Truly, one of the best written There is one interesting character that he only comes in like much later on. Her personality is girl. I'm sure you've experienced at least one series like that. What's the series where someone's personality is they are boy? It needs to be, I guess, like, actually, I guess that would be like Sailor Moon. I never watched Sailor Moon, but I imagine like Tuxedo Mask, his personality is that he is boy. Do you watch Cardcaptor Sakura? I like that series a lot. I think the original Cardcaptor Sakura is wonderfully delightful. It's a pleasure. It's a real pleasure to watch. Clear Card sucks. Clear Card was not very good. Listen, if you watch Cardcaptor Sakura and you did not watch Clear Card, please don't watch Clear Card. It's really not worth your time. I don't believe it ever got a sequel season. Probably because it was not very popular. It had everything to be popular. It was a revival of a beloved franchise, very iconic series, and Clear Card just really fumbled the bag in a lot of ways. It's really it's just a really boring series. The original Cardcaptor Sakura though is great. It's pretty interesting. Unlike a lot of magical girl series, there's no one set like magical girl outfit for Sakura. Instead, her friend Tomoe, I want to say her name was Tomoe. That sounds about right. She likes making outfits, so she'll just make all these bombastic outfits for her to wear. And every single episode, Sakura has a new outfit, and it's really, really fun. It's really lovely. Which also means that basically, there's no like set transformation sequence. There is a transformation sequence where she'll like get her staff and everything, but like that had to be redone every single time in the new outfit when it happened. I believe it was Studio Bones who did it, and this is back when like people really liked Bones. I think people still like Bones, but unfortunately they don't make a lot of series sell well. Shinji's character is boy. He is the first mainstream boy character I can think of. I have not watched Evangelion. I should. I love mech series. I should probably watch Evangelion eventually. There are so many people who would crucify you for that. Maybe fitting in brand with Evangelion. It's often heavy Christian religious imagery, but there are many people who crucify you for that. There are like whole essays people have done on the characterization of Shinji Ikari and what he's like. I saw so many clips that I don't even need to watch anymore. I see. You know, a lot of people say it's like a, you know, obviously it's like a very like influential series, right? I feel like there's also a bit of a weight on that as well. It's like, what if you watch it and you don't like it? Maybe that's one of the reasons why I've never watched it. Granted, I've also never watched Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. I did watch the original Fullmetal Alchemist. Not good. Not a good show. Okay, I have a weird experience with Fullmetal Alchemist. So, I read, I want to say like the first like six or seven volumes of the manga because a family member of mine had them, and they were great. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. I watched like the first like 3 or 4 episodes of the original anime because I watched the original first and then watch the Brotherhood, which is like the better version. Wait, no, I read some of the manga, then I watched the film, which is like the sequel to the anime, and I'm like, I had no idea what's going on in this film. It's just like, okay. Excuse me. Then I watched like the first few episodes of the anime. Wasn't liking it. Stopped watching it for like months, maybe even like a year or two, and then like, I'll give it another go. Started it. I'm like, this is not good. This is really not good. It doesn't seem to understand the source material at all. It's just, it treats alchemy like it's magic and can do anything, when it's just not. It has very strict rules on how things function in the world. There's a lot of original stuff in the original anime, which is, it's trash. It is utter dog water. You can tell when it's the original source material. It's night and day, because the original source material is well written and the other side is not. I say dog water. I remember that one clip of Calliope Mori talking how like she got like a marshmallow from like just like these two 12-year-olds tried to insult me and they called me dog water, and she just like roasted them on stream, and it's really, really funny. Oh, speaking of Calliope Mori, there's that new person. I believe it's Saba Saba. They're apparently going to be showing themselves off soon in a debut. I believe on the end of this week. How exciting. Truly. Truly exciting stuff. I hope the best for them. Yeah. I think oh god, it's like 11:45 now. Well, I should probably be heading off soon. Thank you for coming by though, Pickle, for just sticking around as long as you did. You didn't need to. I hope you do have a wonderful rest of your sleep, Pickle. If you would have any, do you have any nighttime messages which you would like, and I can try and I don't know, perform them for you, I guess. I don't know. If not, don't worry about it, my friend. Don't thank me, friend. I'm not the one who fought for you. Thanks for the stream. Have a great night. No worries, no worries. Thank you so much for coming by, Pickle. I appreciate it. I may be streaming tomorrow if I'm feeling better. I'll keep your word for it. You need to rest. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Pickle. Yeah, if I'm feeling better, I'll probably do a long stream tomorrow. If not, I think maybe I'll just rest my throat for Friday so I can actually do the reading stream. If not, tomorrow I'll probably be playing Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for coming. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, afternoon. Keep well. Stay safe. Eat lots of good food. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Good night.